Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in U.S. history, not a centuries-old piece of gold, but a humble quarter that could be sitting in your pocket or tucked away in an old jar at home. I'm talking about the 1999 Delaware State Quarter Dollar, the very first coin released in the legendary 50 State Quarters program. But here's the twist. While millions of these quarters were minted and circulated, there's a tiny fraction of them that are so rare, so unique, that they've become the stuff of collector dreams. And yes, one of these rare versions has been sold for a jaw-dropping amount. We'll get to that at the end. So stick with me. Let's go on a journey to discover why this coin, minted just over 2 decades ago, is making such a big splash in the numismatic world. First, a little background. The Delaware State Quarter was released in January 1999, kicking off the U.S. Mint's ambitious plan to honor each of the 50 states with a special quarter design. Delaware got the honor of being first because it was the first state to ratify the Constitution in 1787. That already makes this coin a bit more special. It's the pioneer of the series that millions of collectors chased for years. The design on the back of the coin features a bold image of Caesar Rodney on horseback. Rodney was a Delaware delegate who made an 80-mile ride through a thunderstorm to Philadelphia to cast the deciding vote for American independence. His legendary ride became the centerpiece of Delaware's identity and, of course, the symbol chosen for this quarter. Now, at a glance, the Delaware quarter might look like just another coin. But here's where things get exciting. Not all Delaware quarters are created equal. You see, during the minting process, tiny imperfections called errors can occur. Normally, the U.S. Mint catches these, but every so often, a flawed coin makes it out into circulation. And for collectors, those flaws are like striking gold. So, what kind of errors are we talking about? One of the most famous and valuable types is the spitting horse error. Yes, you heard that right. In this error, a die crack appears in such a way that it looks like the horse on the coin is literally spitting. It's a small, hairline crack that runs from the horse's mouth toward the edge of the coin. And believe it or not, that tiny flaw turns an ordinary quarter into a rare collectible. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't aligned properly when it was struck, leaving part of the design missing. Or double dies, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment in the die itself. These are extremely rare and sought after, especially on a first-of-its-kind state quarter like Delaware. And here's another fun fact. Some of these rare errors weren't discovered right away. That means many of them ended up in piggy banks, vending machines, and parking meters across the country. Some may still be out there today, hiding in plain sight. Which is why collectors are always keeping a close eye on every Delaware quarter they come across. But beyond the errors, even standard 1999 Delaware quarters can be valuable if they're in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially if they were part of a limited proof set or minted with high detail for collectors. The real thrill for coin enthusiasts comes from the hunt. The idea that something so small and ordinary could turn out to be a rare treasure, that's what makes this hobby so exciting. Every coin tells a story, but some coins tell epic ones. And the Delaware quarter? It's one of the best. Now, let's talk about the moment you've been waiting for. One particular 1999 Delaware State Quarter, featuring a rare mint error and preserved in near-perfect conditions, was recently valued and sold at auction for an astounding $79,000. Yes, you heard that right. $79,000 for a single quarter. So the next time you get change back at the grocery store or dig through that old box of coins in your attic, take a second look. That 1999 Delaware quarter might just be more than change. It could be a life-changing discovery. Top 2, we're unlocking the secrets behind the United States 2000 Virginia State Quarter Dollar, a coin that's not just rich in design, but for a few lucky people, rich in actual value. This might look like an ordinary quarter. It might even be sitting in your change jar right now. But I promise you, this is no ordinary coin. Because some versions of this Virginia quarter, thanks to rare errors and pristine condition, have become incredibly desirable to collectors. And one of them? It's been sold for a mind-blowing amount of money. Stay with me because we're going to tell you exactly how much at the end of this video. And trust me, you're going to want to hear it. Let's start with what makes this coin so historic and collectible. The Virginia Quarter was released in the year 2000 as part of the U.S. Mint's iconic 50-state quarters program. It was the 10th state quarter to be released, commemorating the founding of the Jamestown Colony, the first permanent English settlement in North America, established in 1607. That makes this coin not only a celebration of Virginia's role in American history, but also a tribute to the very roots of the nation. Take a look at the reverse design. It features three ships, the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, the fleet that brought English settlers across the Atlantic Ocean to what would become the United States. The details on this design are beautiful, but it's what's beneath the surface that makes this coin truly fascinating. Now here's where collectors start to get excited. Millions of these coins were minted. But among those millions, a few rare versions exist that have what experts call minting errors. These aren't mistakes in a bad way. In the world of coin collecting, they're pure gold. Let's talk about the kinds of errors that make this quarter so valuable. Point one of the most well-known is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't perfectly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that's skewed or partially missing. A slight off-center error can already catch a collector's attention, but if it's off by a wide margin and still in great condition, that's when the value really starts climbing. Another error seen on the 2000 Virginia Quarter is the double die. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once, slightly out of alignment. You might see doubling in the lettering, numbers, or ship details. To a trained eye, that little bit of doubling makes all the difference between a 25-cent piece and a once-in-a-lifetime find. Then there are clipped planchets, a rare situation where the coin blank is cut improperly before striking, leaving part of the coin physically missing. While it may sound like a flaw to collectors, this kind of mint error is a rare and valuable feature, and let's not forget about condition. Even a perfectly normal Virginia quarter, if it has never been circulated and is in mint state condition, especially graded MS 67 or higher, can hold substantial value. But when that flawless condition is combined with a dramatic error, that's where the magic happens. Think about it. A coin that passed through the hands of millions of Americans, mostly used in vending machines or tossed into tip jars, somehow surviving untouched, unscuffed, and carrying a rare error? That's like finding a needle in a haystack. But this particular needle might just be worth a fortune. So why is this so exciting for collectors? Because you never know where one of these treasures will turn up. It could be in your change from the gas station. It could be in a roll of quarters from the bank. Or maybe it's already sitting in your home, waiting to be discovered. That's the thrill of the hunt, and why so many people are drawn to the world of coin collecting. It's part history, part mystery, and part treasure hunt. Now, let's get to the moment you've been waiting for. One specific 2000 Virginia State quarter dollar, featuring a rare error and graded in exceptional, uncirculated condition, was sold at auction for an unbelievable amount. Are you ready? That coin was sold for $76,000. Yes, 76,000 US dollars for one quarter. So don't overlook your spare change. That 2000 Virginia quarter you almost spent on a cup of coffee might just be your ticket to something far bigger. Top 3, we're talking about the 2021 Tuskegee Airman Quarter, one of the most powerful, symbolic, and potentially valuable coins released in recent U.S. history. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, 2021? That's a brand new coin. How could that possibly be rare or worth serious money? Well, buckle up, because this story is about so much more than just a piece of change. This is about legacy, symbolism, and yes, a few extremely rare mistakes that turned a modern quarter into a collector's jackpot. Let's start at the beginning. The Tuskegee Airman Quarter was the final release in the America the Beautiful Quarters program, an ambitious coin series that ran for over a decade, honoring America's national parks and historic sites. And what a way to close the series, with a tribute to the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, the first African-American military pilots in U.S. history who served with honor during World War II. The reverse design of the coin features an airman donning his flight gear, standing proudly before a backdrop of two P-51 Mustang fighter planes soaring in the sky. Behind him stands the Moton Field Control Tower, where the Tuskegee Airmen trained. And etched in bold letters above is the powerful message: they fought two wars, one against fascism overseas and one against racism at home. This isn't just currency, it's a monument in miniature. Now, millions of these coins were struck and released into circulation. But here's where things get interesting. Among those millions, a very small number of coins came out wrong. And in the world of coin collecting, wrong often means very, very right for your wallet. So what kinds of errors should you look out for? Let's start with the most eye-catching one, die breaks, sometimes called cuts. These occur when part of the die used to strike the coin cracks or breaks, leaving a raised blob or chunk of extra metal on the coin. On the Tuskegee Airman Quarter, some collectors have reported dramatic die breaks, especially around the aircraft or the lettering. These instantly set a coin apart from the rest. Another prized error is the off-center strike. If the coin wasn't perfectly aligned when stamped, parts of the design will appear shifted or even missing. The more off-center the strike, especially when the date is still visible, the more collectors are willing to pay. And then there's the double die error, a favorite amongst serious collectors. This happens when the coin is struck twice in a slightly misaligned way, creating a doubled appearance in the letters or design elements. Imagine looking closely at the words Tuskegee Airman and seeing them mirrored ever so slightly. That's a double die, and it's a big deal. Now let's talk about the rarest of the rare struck on the wrong planchet. That means the quarter was accidentally stamped on a blank mint for a different coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. These mismatched planchet errors are extremely rare, and when found on a modern commemorative quarter like this one, they send collectors into a frenzy. But it's not just errors that can bring value. Condition is everything. A 2021 Tuskegee Airman Quarter in mint state, especially one graded MS 67 or higher by a trusted grading service, becomes instantly desirable. Add a rare error on top of that? Now we're talking about a coin that turns heads at auctions. And here's why collectors are so drawn to this particular coin. It's not just about the rarity, it's about the meaning. This coin represents courage, honor, and the struggle for justice. It tells the story of men who shattered barriers and flew into combat with the weight of history on their shoulders. Owning a Tuskegee Airman Quarter, especially one that's rare or flawed in a unique way, is like holding a tiny piece of that legacy in your hands. So, next time you're checking your spare change or sorting through a roll of quarters, keep your eyes wide open. Look for doubling, off-center designs, strange marks, or unusual textures. It might look like a small imperfection, but it could be a major payday. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. One exceptional example of the 2021 Tuskegee Airman Quarter, featuring a rare mint error and preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, was recently valued at a jaw-dropping $73,000. Yes, you heard that right, $73,000. For a quarter that's less than 5 years old. That's why this hobby is so thrilling. Because even in the most ordinary places, in your pocket, in your change tray, at the bottom of your purse, you might just find something extraordinary. Top 4, we're setting our sights on a coin that many people overlook, yet it holds a special place in American history and in the hearts of collectors. It's not ancient. It's not gold. And it probably passed through countless hands without anyone realizing what it really was. We're talking about the 2009 Guam State Quarter Dollar, a coin that, for some lucky individuals, could be worth far more than just 25 cents. And if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you exactly how much one of these rare coins sold for, and believe me, it's going to blow your mind. Let's start with the basics. The Guam Quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters program, launched in 2009. This short series followed the legendary 50-state quarters program and featured 6 special designs, each celebrating a U.S. territory. Guam's turn came with a beautiful design that reflects the island's heritage and deep cultural identity. On the reverse side, you'll find an outline of the island of Guam, along with a flying prow, a traditional Chamorro canoe, and a latte stone. A pillar used in ancient architecture that represents strength and history. It's a coin full of symbolism and pride, connecting the past with the present. But why is a coin from 2009 getting collectors all stirred up in 2024? Let's dive into what makes some Guam quarters incredibly rare and potentially extremely valuable. While millions of Guam quarters were minted, especially from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a very small number of them left the mint with errors. And in the coin collecting world, errors are everything. Let's talk about the most talked about minting error on the Guam quarter, the double die. This is when the coin is struck more than once by the die in a slightly shifted position. If you look closely, you might see letters, numbers, or parts of the design appearing twice, slightly shadowed or doubled. And when it comes to rare coins, that subtle doubling can turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's dream. Another type of error collectors have found on the Guam quarter is the off-center strike. Imagine a coin where the design isn't quite centered, where part of the island outline or the lettering is cut off. Depending on how dramatic the off-center strike is, this kind of error can make a coin incredibly valuable, especially if the date and mint mark are still fully visible. Then there's the clipped planchet error. This occurs when the metal sheet the coin is stamped from has an irregular cut, leaving a curved chunk missing from the edge of the coin. It might look like damage at first glance, but to a seasoned collector, it's a jackpot. Now, here's the part that often gets overlooked: condition. Even if your 2009 Guam quarter doesn't have a visible error, if it's in mint state condition, that means shiny, uncirculated, with no scratches or wear, and especially if it's been graded MS 67 or higher by a professional grading service, it can still command serious value. Combine that with a rare error, and now you're looking at something truly special. What makes the Guam quarter even more exciting is that it's from a smaller mintage run compared to the state quarters, meaning fewer were produced. And as time goes on, fewer still remain in excellent condition. Every year that passes, coins get lost, damaged, or spent. But the rare ones, the ones with quirks, the ones that stand out, those are the ones that collectors fight to find and preserve. And for many coin collectors, finding a coin like this isn't just about the money. It's about holding a piece of overlooked American history. Guam is more than just a beautiful island. It's a strategic and cultural hub with deep connections to indigenous traditions, military significance, and resilience. Owning this coin, especially one with a rare flaw, is like holding a piece of that story in your palm. Now, the moment you've been waiting for: one exceptionally rare 2009 Guam quarter, featuring a dramatic mint error and preserved in near-perfect condition, was sold at auction for a stunning total of $69,000. Yes, you heard that right. 69,000 US dollars. For a 25-cent coin. So before you toss that change in a vending machine or dump it into a tip jar, take a closer look. Flip over your quarters. Check the dates. Look for doubling, off-center designs, or anything unusual, because that one little coin could be the key to a collector's treasure chest. Top 5. We're talking about a coin that millions of people have held, spent, or completely overlooked, but a select few versions of it have become extremely rare, highly collectible, and incredibly valuable. I'm talking about the 2005 West Virginia State Quarter Dollar. At first glance, it looks just like any other coin in the 50 State Quarters program. But trust me, this particular one hides more than just history. It might be hiding a very big payday. Let's go on a journey together and uncover why this coin is capturing the attention of collectors everywhere, and how one version of this quarter sold for an absolutely shocking amount. We'll reveal that number at the end, so stay tuned. Now, let's take a step back. The West Virginia State Quarter was released in 2005 as the 35th coin in the State Quarter series. This incredibly popular program ran from 1999 to 2008, celebrating each U.S. state with a unique design that honored its heritage, beauty, and culture. The design on the West Virginia Quarter? Absolutely breathtaking. It features the New River Gorge Bridge, one of the most iconic and awe-inspiring landmarks in the state, and one of the longest steel arch bridges in the world. With dramatic details of the river running below and the rugged mountain landscape surrounding it, this design perfectly captures the spirit of West Virginia: bold, natural, and enduring. But while millions of these coins were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, not all of them came out perfectly. And this is where things get very exciting for collectors. You see, some of the 2005 West Virginia quarters have been discovered with minting errors. And in the world of coin collecting, errors are like winning lottery tickets, especially when they're rare and dramatic. Let's talk about the kinds of errors that make this particular quarter so valuable. First up, double die errors. This happens when the coin is struck more than once, causing parts of the design, like the text or even elements of the bridge, to appear doubled. These are often subtle, but under magnification, the doubling becomes clear and extremely valuable. Another error to look for is the off-center strike. That's when the coin wasn't aligned properly during the stamping process. The result? A coin with part of the design shifted off to one side, sometimes even cutting off the lettering. The more off-center it is, while still showing the date, the rarer and more collectible it becomes. Then there are die breaks and cuts, areas on the coin where the metal is raised due to a damaged die. On the West Virginia quarter, these can appear as extra metal blobs or odd shapes around the rim or near the bridge design. These minting flaws might look like accidents, but to collectors, they're pure gold. And here's where it gets even more interesting. There have been reports of wrong planchet errors with some West Virginia quarters. That means a quarter design was accidentally struck on a coin blank mint for a different denomination, like a nickel or even a foreign coin. When these get discovered and verified, their value skyrockets. But rarity isn't just about errors. Condition plays a massive role. If your West Virginia quarter is in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used or circulated and has zero scratches or wear, it already has a leg up in the collector world. Coins graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading companies are considered investment grade and can fetch serious attention from serious buyers. So, imagine this. You find a 2005 West Virginia quarter in your drawer. You take a closer look. The lettering looks slightly doubled. It's clean, crisp, shiny, like it just left the mint yesterday. You send it in for grading, and it comes back with a high score and a verified mint error. That's when the story goes from interesting to life-changing. Because one rare 2005 West Virginia quarter, featuring a known minting error and preserved in outstanding condition, recently sold for an unbelievable $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000. For a coin you might have handed over at a gas station without a second thought. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about shiny metal, it's about hidden value, untold history, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin has a story. Some tell stories of our past. Some carry mistakes that became treasures. And some are worth a whole lot more than face value. So, the next time you check your pocket change, don't overlook the small stuff. That West Virginia quarter just might be your ticket to something incredible. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next great coin discovery. We've got more rare coins to uncover together, and who knows, the next big one might already be in your hand. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting, and may your next coin be a rare one.